Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I'm a Western astrologer and Twin Flame channel, and this is a video about the Capricorn Full Moon taking place on July 10th at 4:36 p.m. if you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States. Please check a time zone converter for your local time. You will find this Capricorn Full Moon right here at the 18th degree of Capricorn, making some very interesting aspects with Mars, with Juno, and with Chiron and Eris conjunct in Aries. This is bringing us to task in the third dimension when it comes to motivation. That's Mars, to change and close out things that we've outgrown. That's full moon in Capricorn, in sectors of life having to do with relationship, service, and work. Given that Capricorn is structure, Virgo is service, and Juno over here is uh, relationships, where she's sitting in Scorpio. So we're going to get into all of this in a minute. But if you are new here, welcome. Definitely subscribe if you hear something that resonates. And I'd like to make sure you all know that two things are happening right now. First is that if you missed the union workshop earlier this year, you really wanted to be in on that life-changing opportunity to move yourself and your connection forward. The woman that I co-created that with, Romania, a yielded vessel, she and I have created something that we're offering this weekend only on Saturday called the Party Erasure Intensive. It's 5 steps to release stuck patterns, people, and paradigms from your connection. And it's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. It's a 4-hour deep dive crash course, very light on the basics of things we mentioned in the union workshop. And then from there, we jump right into advanced concepts that will facilitate your ability to move your connection beyond where it has been up until this point. A third party doesn't have to be a person, it can be a stuck story that you have that stands in between you and your person coming together, such as labels like avoidant or narcissistic, or things like these people like to say that my person is, I don't know, I hear all sorts of stories about people's connection. What you want to do is give yourself some space to rewrite that story this year in 2025. And here's the reason why. When we get to, and I mentioned this over on the community page, 2025 is the halfway point between the last union window and the next union window. The last union window took place on January, it peaked on January 23rd, 2023, in the sign of Aries. The next one peaks in uh, 2028 on 11/8, November 8th. So I really cannot overemphasize how important it is. If you've been on a loop, if you've been in redundant patterns with your person, whether it involves other people or not, it's so important to get into a place where the consciousness within you that is generating this loop can collapse. Because once you've collapsed that consciousness, you're going to be able to unplug others as opposition from your connection, and where needed, such as like family or kids, like parents, you can turn those people into allies for your connection. I know it seems like an impossibility, but I myself have done it. I've seen my co host, my co lead Romania do it. We've seen people in the union workshop be able to do it. We're going to teach you more of this advanced strategy in rich detail on Saturday. Link to join is below this video. If you've already joined, we can't wait to meet you. It's 2 days away, and we just added a bonus session on Saturday, July 19th from 10 to noon Eastern. We've added a 2-hour live bonus Q&A and laser coaching with hot seats. So you'll have the opportunity to listen to the recording, you'll have lifetime access, and then a week later, you can join us live if you can't join live for the first session to get more of your questions answered. Investment is $277. same cost as a 1 hour reading with me, but instead you're going to get the opportunity to sit with two master coaches for 6 hours to bring your connection on track. And like I said, 2025 is really a key year for that. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. It's coming up quick. If you missed the union workshop, make sure you take advantage of this. Here we go. Capricorn full moon at 18th degree of Capricorn is making aspects over here and a trine to Mars here inside of Virgo. With Capricorn and Capricorn moon speaking to Mars in Virgo, we have an energy of motivation, ambition, of drive, of moving forward, of saying yes to opportunities in the third dimension to transform the structures of our life in a way that more aligns with personal order, personal needs, personal vision. And the reason why this is so personal is because Mars is our sign of personal ambition, personal drive. With Mars in Virgo, we have motivation to bring new order, to bring new closure, to bring new structure to our lives at this time. It's no accident that this particular full moon has 8 placements in cardinal signs. Cardinal signs are new beginnings. They're fresh starts, and full moons are closures and completions. But what this is talking about is a fresh start based on this clean slate energy of massive closure that many people have come into now that Saturn and Neptune have changed signs, Uranus has changed signs, Pluto's in a new sign. Last year in July, I did tell you guys, listen, we're going to be in a whole new world come July of next year after these planets change signs. Some of you didn't believe me. You were like, what does that even mean? What could that look like? It doesn't sound that new to me. When you look around at not only the way the world has changed, but your personal life has changed. I've been speaking to a lot of people whose personal life has felt in collapse in the last 4 to 6 months. Entire groups of friends gone, entire jobs, workplaces completely changed, career trajectories, one imploded, another birthed, entire new relationships, closing out a marriage, stepping into union with a divine counterpart. All of these sorts of massive, major changes are what has been par for the course as the major planets have changed signs. And they're not done yet. We still have more change to go, as some of them will retrograde back into the preceding sign before settling into their new sign. Our lives are still undergoing massive growth, massive change, massive transformation. But the thing about massive growth, change, and transformation in this way, and that this cardinal energy with 8 placements in cardinal signs invites us to speak to, and this full moon in cardinal sign Capricorn, it invites us to step into changing the structure of our lives, utilizing this energy of change to our advantage. Whenever there's massive change on a grand scale in our lives, what we end up bumping into is a very malleable timeline. And in the malleability of that timeline, we have the opportunity to write a new story, to create a new pathway, to jump to a higher frequency in the way our lives are rendering. With this particular full moon in Capricorn, this jump is going to be activated by the things we choose to do. And that's Mars, the action taker, speaking in harmony with this full moon in the third dimensional sign of Virgo, full moon in the third dimensional sign of Capricorn. Action taken in the third dimension is what's going to shift things, not just thoughts and feelings, hopes and prayers, love and light. Those are good. We need those. Stay the course in the spiritual. This full moon demands action in the third dimension. And so, the more action you're taking to facilitate growth and change, the more quickly your life will align to where you want it to be when it comes to both your career sector, your service sector, day to day living and habits, and also your relationship sector. So let's get into the love stuff. Most people think of love as only governed by Venus, but here on this channel, we read Juno. Juno is an energy of divine feminine marital spouse partnership. While Venus governs the connection in terms of love, desire, chemistry, and magnetism and beauty, Juno takes all of that up an octave and stabilizes it into partnership, contract, commitment till death do us part, to have and to hold. It is the energy of follow through. Juno has been retrograde since the spring in the northern hemisphere of this year, the April May time frame. As we come into this full moon on July 10th, later in this day, she is going to turn direct. It will be July 11th for those of you in the Eastern Hemisphere. In her journey of retrograde motion, she's taken us on a deep dive of all things related to power, that's Scorpio, and partnerships, what she represents. So you may have been on a deep excavational journey when it comes to love and relationships and all things scorpionic, business partnerships and all things scorpionic. All things scorpionic include finances, taxes, debt, loans, credit, inheritances, and lottery winnings, what we call other people's money. Where does your power sit in relation to those things? There has been any upset in relationship to those things, they now will get the opportunity for resolution. Sex and sexuality, reproductive health. If there has been any upset in arenas related to these things, resolution can show itself at this time as Juno starts to turn direct. You might find the right doctor in this instance, or the right coach if you need intimacy coaching. If it's a financial issue, you might find the right lawyer, the right accountant. And Scorpio also represents fear and dealing with our fear, our shame, and our rage, the blockages to our power. If there have been any blockages to our power that have shown up through these emotions in any of your interpersonal relationships over the course of the Juno retrograde, you'll find that the guide, the coach, or the necessary conversation will show up in your life as Juno turns direct, leaves the sign that deals with these things, and pops out here in Sagittarius, sign of the Archer, on October 5th. This post shadow period of roughly 90 days is going to facilitate a lot of healing, growth, integration from some of the challenges that may have shown up between the April May time frame and now. Hallelujah for Juno direct. I was so ready for it. Thank God. Juno speaking to this full moon is bringing forward an opportunity for us to bring new structure. Again, that's Capricorn, to our partnerships by closing out, that's the full moon component and the Scorpio component, endings, new structure by closing out what we've outgrown, what no longer works for us. For some, you'll look back and say 2025 is the year my marriage ended, even if it didn't yet end on paper. For others, you'll look back and you'll say 2025 was the year I ended the pattern of dealing with um, love that constantly abandons me. I now only choose love that chooses me. For others, you'll look back and you'll realize 2025 was the year you ended cycles of financial codependency with other people. This was the year you finally became financially free. With this in mind, it's important to understand that the choices you make now will have some reverberating consequences, especially in the arena of love as we move toward the union window that's opening up in 2028 for divine counterparts. And I'll talk with you about that over in that video. But understand that it's this period where you're purging and releasing and coming into close contact with things that have been obstructive to your power Now is the time to take back your power. So often we think about power as, quote, walking away. I took back my power. I walked away. But sometimes power isn't about walking away. It's about what can you do inside of your power through staying connected. How influential can you be spiritually, emotionally? How decisive can you be physically and verbally? How invested can you be without gripping and clinging? These sorts of things are what will help you understand how you'll be able to make the necessary changes inside and preparing for this union window. What you're going to find is that at this time, the things that were total upsets during the course of this Juno retrograde, all of a sudden your relationship fell apart. All of a sudden somebody came back from the past. As we hit this full moon in Capricorn and then Juno turns direct, you will find there is an energy of about face and reversal, especially as we get closer to October 5th and Juno then goes to oppose Uranus over here in Gemini. Your Juno will pop out in Sagittarius, then oppose Uranus. Inside of that opposition, which occurred at the outset of the Juno retrograde in the April-May timeframe, things that turned upside down have the opportunity to turn right side up now, and when we at the closer we get to the October 5th time frame. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Get intentional about the story you want to write when it comes to love, connection, and partnership, whether it's business partnership and collaboration or romantic partnership and marriage. This is your opportunity to get clear about where you want to go and grow with this Capricorn full moon and start taking actions that are aligned to it. It's your alignment in the 3D that will signal to the universe, hey, I'm ready for everything that's hanging out in escrow in the 5D. Bring it on, bring it in. I love to see this. And if you've been stuck or struggling in this, you'll find that the work that we'll do in the third party erasure intensive will allow you to collapse redundant storylines that have mirrored each other in work and love. Always getting passed over in love, getting rejected in love, constantly being that type of person who gets passed over for the promotion or rejected from the job, not getting the contract. If you're the kind of person who is constantly giving, giving, giving in love and maxed out, stretched to the brim financially, you'll find that this is your opportunity to rewrite that story. So, if you've been living in any sort of story that just hasn't served you in both places, I strongly encourage you to join us for 3PE this weekend because this is your opportunity, this full moon in Capricorn, to bring things into alignment with where you know you're capable of growing and what you're capable of having before we close this year. Okay. It's interesting to talk about this because we also see Chiron and Eris together, also speaking to this full moon. And this is bringing an air of personal wounding to the surface. With Eris in Aries, the Eris story is strife. It's one of discord. It's one of feeling left out and mutually assured destruction. When she is in conjunction with Chiron, the Chiron story operates in triplicate. And I've spoken about this on this channel before, but I want to make sure that I speak to it again here because Chiron has been in communication with both the new moon in Cancer and this full moon in Capricorn, along with Eris. This thing with Chiron, the Chiron story starts with rejection and abandonment. Neither his mother nor his father wanted anything to do with him. Then Chiron moved into a season of life that was all about integration, learning, growth. He got adopted, and he was adopted by some very wise teachers who schooled him in the ways of healing and the arts and sciences. From there, Chiron became the most learned on Mount Olympus, highly sought after, by the heroes of old who came to him for wisdom or elixirs before they started their journeys that we read about in Greek and Roman mythology. And he also became one of the most sought after for advice on Mount Olympus as well. But Chiron was marked by being different, by not belonging. When you look at the imagery of Chiron in the mythology, Chiron has two front human legs, two hind centaur horse hooves. All of the other centaurs had four horse legs. There was no human with horse hind quarters. Chiron was in a league and a class of his own. And this brings us into the opportunity to take this square, which can have many in victim consciousness. I'm certainly seeing it. I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I'll never be enough. I'll never get enough. Maybe I should just give up on my dream, give up on love, give up on this, live small, play safe. You will see this unfolding here with that energy speaking to this full moon, this sort of perpetuated victim state. But the invitation in this is to really take a look at and see, maybe I wasn't meant to be part of the pack because I'm a reject. Maybe I'm not meant to be part of the pack because I'm here to lead the pack. And that's that Aries energy shining through. The Aries leadership energy, the Capricorn leadership energy, because the full moon is in a square to Chiron and Eris, it's forming this tension between the need to fit in and the drive to stand out, and the necessity to carve our own pathway forward. Whether you're dealing in the world of twin flameship and thinking about union, or you're dealing in the world of personal, how do we put, like personal, like branding pathway for starting a business, there is a need for all of us at this time to step up and step into what is my pathway and my truth above and beyond what anyone else is saying. What is the story I want to live into? And how do I, once again, here's that Martian energy, which is the governing planet of Aries. How do I take action on that at this time? So it's a really beautiful energy here that's facilitating an opportunity for transformation, growth, and change through the collapse of structures that were no longer meant to be serving us. If you're experiencing that blank slate energy, I invite you through the collapse of a timeline in your life. Lost a home, lost a job, lost a friend group, lost a partner, uh, school didn't work out the way you thought it would. The visa didn't go through for travel the way you thought it would. I really want to encourage you. You have more power in this moment than you know. You have more power to, with your own authority, your own ownership, your own choices and decisions. Again, Mars in Virgo shows up as the action taker from a decision maker. You have more power than you know to author where your life goes from here. The timelines are super malleable right now. Use this to your advantage to craft a new story to get on that higher timeline. Like I said, if you need any help with that, you know where I'm going to be on Saturday. Lastly, this full moon, we see it in communication with an energy here called Folis. Folis here is the energy of kind of being at the wrong place at the wrong time, being a victim to other people's issues and problems. Many of us may be feeling quite guided at this time to narrow the scope of our focus to dealing with the problems that we can touch, that we can deal with, that we can handle. There's a lot going on in the world right now, a lot of distraction and detractive energy that's asking us to fight battles that you can't even touch, you can't even do anything about from where you are. with fullness in communication with this full moon, we are coming into contact with several truths at the same time. And they may seem contradictory, but they're in an inextricable bind. On the one hand, we are all one on this planet. Us, the earth, the animals, all of our different races, classes, creeds, genders, sexualities. We got to all figure out how to get along and thrive here, right? If any of us are going to continue to thrive, all of us have to be able to continue to thrive. And right now, we're really seeing the geopolitical and sociocultural impact of suffering over there becoming a problem for us over here. In that regard, keep your hands in the clay. Do what you can. Talk to your senators, your congressmen, your prime minister, your MPs, your local representatives and leaders. Advocate, be an ally where you can, how you can. And when it comes to being out here on the social media, when it comes to being out here, being a part of the conversation that is collective commiseration around things that aren't uplifting, unplug. Don't let your consciousness, your energy, your frequency get dragged down or become a victim by the collective consciousness and thought body structure at this time. Okay, so both things can be true simultaneously. It's time to plug in and it's also time to unplug. Operate where your power has the most effect. Okay. And so that's what I'm seeing for this Capricorn full moon. It's a lot of change, high change. We're in a season of high change, but we're also in an opportunity moment of high power where we get the choice, we get the opportunity to dictate our timelines and step onto new ones. Much of it because this is a full moon and full moons are endings by collapsing old stories, especially in relationship and love and work and service. If you heard something that resonates, definitely hit that like button. Can't wait to see you here again at the next lunation. Later on today, I'll be posting the twin flame lunar update, so stay tuned for that. I am so grateful to have read for you. Thank you for your patience while I get these lunar updates up. And yeah, like, share, and subscribe. And those of you joining us on Saturday, I'm going to see you there. Take great care and bye for now.